concept. Okay, so after the Python programming, we are just entering into a new kind of concept that is called database concepts, where we have to use the SQL, that is called structured query language. Structured query language has to be used, all right, in order to retrieve the data from the databases. That way you will come slowly. Okay, first let us see what is actually the database concepts. Fine. A database is a collection of data information that is organized so that it can be easily accessed, managed, and updated. Like a school is having the database where all your informations have been stored, and when we are just sending the registration details to the CBSE board, CBSE also maintaining a record of you. Okay, all are being stored in the database concept database. All right, so the database is such a kind of thing. It is actually, you can say, a reservoir of data. In database, data is organized into rows, columns, tables, and it is indexed to make it easier to find the relevant information. Say, for example, index means what? There are 7 zones in the CBSE. So, Bhubaneswar zone is there, Guwahati zone is there, then Delhi zone is there, outer Delhi zone is also there. Okay, so there are different type of zones. So, all zone wise, the records are being added. So, it will be easy to find out. That is called indexing of data. It works like a container which contains the various objects like tables, queries, reports in organized way. So it is very much organized. So anytime any data is required, that can be easily accessible, right? So now, why do we need the database? To manage the large chunks of data. If the size of the data increases into thousands of records, it will simply create a problem to manage. That's why the database can manage a large amount of data. Fine. Okay. Accuracy. So there are some validation rules in database that can be applicable, okay, at the time of query or at the time of fetching data. So the accurate data we will be able to see. It is easy to update or modify any data, okay, and that is according to our own convenience. Okay, moreover, multiple people can also edit the data at the same time, so that depends upon the whether the database administrator will allow them to do or not, means the rights to be given or not. Security of data is also possible, because whenever you want to inside you want to go inside your database, in that case you have to log in with a unique password. Fine. So with databases, we have security groups and privileges to restrict access. You can grant or you can revoke the permission. Data integrity is also another important aspect of database. In databases, we can be assured of accuracy and consistency of data due to the built-in integrity checks and access controls. Like an example, I can say you that it never allows you to do the duplicate entries. Okay, duplicate entries are not possible out here. Okay, fine. And another thing is that suppose you are storing the names, suppose you want to store there some kind of numeric data and all, it will not be possible. Incomplete data you cannot enter like that. Okay, so there are other security checks are also there. Actually, the security of data maintaining the data integrity, that is the thing. Okay, so we are coming to the next part of it. A database management system, that is called DBMS. Okay, DBMS refers to a software that is responsible for storing, maintaining, and utilizing database in an efficient way. A database along with the DBMS software is called database system. So we are having a lot of DBMS software like Oracle, MySQL Server. Actually, MySQL Server is actually the open. It's actually a freeware. Okay. MS Access is also there. That is actually an intellectual property rights to be applicable on MS Access, because you have to purchase it along with the MS Office suite. Paradox is also there, DB2 is also there, and MySQL. Okay, so we will use both MySQL and MySQL Server. Okay, MySQL is the open source and freeware DBMS. It is clearly written, and as I have mentioned before. All right, so it is actually open source, an open source and a freeware DBMS. Fine. Okay. So now, and not only that, it is compatible with other softwares like Java, like PHP, and all. Okay. So it is actually, that's why it's very popular nowadays. Okay, in order to maintain the database. Okay, by using MySQL Server. All right. So now the thing is that advantages of database system. Database reduces redundancy. Redundancy means to the appearing of the same data again and again. It removes duplications of data because data are kept at one place and all the application refers to the centrally maintained database. Okay, database controls inconsistency. When two copies of the same data do not agree to each other, then it is called inconsistency. By controlling redundancy, the inconsistency is also can be controlled. Database facilitates sharing of data. Particular database can be shared among the users. Okay. Database ensures security. Data are protected against accidental or intentional disclosure to an authorized person or unauthorized modification by withdrawing or granting the rights. Okay, clear. And database maintains integrity. It enforces certain integrity rules to ensure the validity or correctness of data. Suppose a date is a good example. Suppose if you are using like this 31 2000, it will not be applicable or it will not be accepted because it is actually violating the integrity rule, means the validity rule. Okay, so in this way the data integrity can be maintained in a database. Fine. Now see the database concept, that there are different type of models are available. Okay, data model, way of data representation is a model representation which shows how data is organized. Okay, so relational data model is like that. In this model, data is organized into relations or tables, which we are going to do in the later session. When we will do it practically, a row in a table represents a relationship of data to each other and also called a tuple or record. Okay, a column is called attribute or field. Fine. Acha. Now next, network data model. In this model, data is represented by collection of records and relationship among data is shown by links. So some link to be created in that case. Okay, if you are checking or using that particular link, you will be able to connect between two different systems or two different databases. Okay, hierarchical data model. What is this? In this models, records are organized as trees. Okay, records at the top level is called root record, and this may contain multiple directly linked other child records. Fine, that is the thing. And object oriented data model is what? In this model, records are represented as an object. The collection of similar types of object is called class. So whenever we are writing the program, we are writing the program in whether it is Python, Java, whatsoever, we are actually returning the total entire record set into a particular object. Okay, and when we are just unfolding the object, we are retrieving all the data which has been returned by the database. This is actually called object oriented data model. Fine. Now next is the relational database. Actually nowadays what we are doing, actually that is actually RDBMS, a little bit ahead of DBMS, that is called Relational Database Management System. A relational database is a collective set of multiple data sets organized by tables, records and columns. Relational database establish a well-defined relationship between database tables. Tables communicate and share information which facilitates data searchability, means like how to retrieve a data from a table. Okay, organizing and reporting, that is also possible. Okay, organizing means in the form of sorting or in the form of indexing, and reporting means a consolidated report. Maybe the entire table and the data may not be required, only some portion to be required, that to be arranged and in the form of a report it can be presented. Okay, you can say a collection of records which are having some particular fields, okay, along with its data. Fine. A relational database use structured query language which is known as SQL, and which we are going to do practically, which is a standard user application that provides an easy programming interface for database interaction. Fine. So in that case, you have to download, okay, MySQL, MySQL, all right, MySQL, and in that case, that MySQL will provide you the practical console. Okay, from where you can create the database, you can create the table, and you can execute query also. Okay, that is the things will happen. Okay, that's the thing. So so in this way, this database concept is actually a very unique concept in order to organize the data. Fine. Achha. Next is coming, you can see out here clearly depicted. So what is the form of a table and how it looks like? Okay, so you see out here, there is a S hash is given, that is the student identity. So, and this is the name, this is the status, and this is the city. So these are all actually known as fields. Okay, and here you can see the data attributes are being given. Say S1 is for the student identity, name is Anil, status is 2, city is Jaipur. Okay, and these are actually known as, the total information is known as tuple. Okay, and a relation has been created all along. And this is the primary key. So the meaning of the primary key, it can identify a particular record uniquely on a table, in a table. So the data duplication is not possible at all. It is not mandatory to declare any field as a primary key. But the thing is that if you are not keeping the primary key, in that case, the data integrity may be a problem. Okay, it is having some odd effect. Okay, the data cannot be retrieved. So for example, suppose you have not taken this one as primary key and you have taken S1 for Anil also and S1 for Vishal also. Fine. So then what will happen when you will try to retrieve the record, because we know that two different students cannot have the same identity. Okay, if you go to the school, you will have a separate registration number and your friend will have the same registration number. So then if both of them are having the S1, in that case what will happen? Okay, so there will be a data inconsistency will occur. Okay, that is the thing. So whenever you are doing practical in SQL, so that's why a table to be taken as primary key. Fine. So if you're not taking, no error, but the thing is that you may lose the data integrity validation. Fine. So the data integrity, data inconsistency, and data redundancy would occur. So that's why we need to have a primary key. And which are the fields you will take? You know that these things actually known as fields. Okay, these are known as, sorry, yes, these are known as columns, are known as fields, and these horizontal things are known as rows, which are also known as records as well as tuples. And cardinality means how many records are there in that particular table. 1 2 3 4 5. That means the cardinality of this table is actually how much? 5. Okay, 1 2 3 4 5. You will not count this upper one, the heading one, you will not count. Okay, so cardinality is the number of records that is being in a table. Fine. Okay, now the thing is that these are the domains. Okay, these are the domains, means all fields altogether is known as domain. Okay, so there are 4 domains. All right, that is the thing. So no, domains means from where we can get the data, that is the data source or data reservoir, you can say. Fine. So cardinality. And what is the degree? Degree means how many domains are there. Okay, 1 2 3 4. There are 4 domains, so their degree will be 4 and cardinality will be 5, since there are 5 tuples or records. Okay, so that is actually the structure of a table as you have seen out here, and each part has been labeled well, and so the identification will become easy. So I hope you understand the concept of the primary key. So once again, primary key is the specific key, okay, that actually identify a record in a table uniquely. That is called a primary key. Okay, now the thing is that which are the fields you will take the primary key. So if you are taking S name, so there may be 2 or 3 Onils. So if you are taking this one S name as a primary key, so that will not be suitable because other Onil cannot be entered in that case. Okay, status also the same thing. Okay, students may have two, three students might have the same status, so you cannot take this status also as a primary key. City also the same thing. Okay, if the number of, suppose 5 people are coming from Jaipur, so how you will enter if you are keeping the city as primary key? So it is not possible. So that's why what you have to do is you have to take such a field, so that can be considered as a primary key, which is none other than this S. Okay, that is the S hash. That is the primary key field, is very suitably taken because the no two students have the same identity. So that's why it is very much suitable. Fine. Next we are coming where? We are coming to the relational database terms. Okay, relational table. A relation or table matrix. Matrix means the matrix-like structure, you can say. Row column or arrangement, you can say. Table is matrix-like structure arranged in row and columns, clearly written. It has the following properties. Atomicity. Atomicity means, you know, in the chemistry you have read atom in the first level maybe. Atom is what? A small element. Okay, that is a tiny element of a particular substance. Okay, so each column assigned a unique name and must have atomic value, that is indivisible. This, suppose the name field. Okay, you suppose in the name field you have taken first name and address, so you cannot divide them. So once you have taken, that is the total name will be considered as both. Okay, so a value that cannot be further subdivided, so that is called an atom, and the property is known as atomicity. No duplicity. No two rows of the relation will be identical, that is in any two rows value in at least one column must be different. Okay, that is the primary key they are talking about. Okay, no two rows of relation will be identical. That is, in any two rows, value in at least one column must be different. All items in a column are homogeneous. That is of same type. Means the name field will contain all the names. The roll number field will contain all the roll numbers. Okay, ordering of rows and column is immaterial. Okay, that is the thing. So any row, any column you can keep anywhere. At the time of query, also at the time of fetching record or retrieving record, also the same thing can be possible. Domain is what? It is the collection of values. These are all the relational database related terminology and definition. You should do it very nicely in order to build up your concept. It is collection of values from which the value is derived for a column. And what is tuple, entity or record? A same thing almost. Rows of a table is called a tuple or a record. That is gives out a total and clear information about an entity that has been recorded in the table. Attribute or field. Column of a table is called attribute or field, and degree I had told you already the number of columns, that is attributes, okay, in a table. Okay, and cardinality is the number of tuples or the records in a table, that is called number of rows. So the field is also called columns, and the record is also known as row. Okay, so these are the terminologies that are being used in the database. Okay, and you should learn it properly. Fine. So keys in database. Okay, there are four type of keys are there. I had spoken about the primary key already. Keys plays an important role in relational database. It is used for identifying unique rows from table and establishes relationships among tables on net. Okay, here. So that is a particular key. So key is having a particular property, and accordingly it works. Fine. The primary key is what? Is a column or set of columns in a table that uniquely identifies tuples in that particular table. Okay, so a tuple can be identified uniquely by using primary key. Candidate key. Candidate key means what? It is an attribute or set of attribute or keys participating for primary key to uniquely identify each record in the table. Means like candidate keys are the keys which are eligible to be a primary key, which are eligible to a primary key. That means primary key to be chosen from a list of candidate key. So that's why the candidate key is representing actually the primary key only in a DBMS. Fine. And next is coming the alternate key, means out of all the candidate keys, one key will be chosen as the alternate key. Sorry, one key will be chosen as the primary key, and the other keys which are not being chosen as primary key, those are the alternate key. Fine. So out of, that's why it is written, out of all candidate keys, only one gets selected as primary key. Remaining keys which are not being selected as the primary key is known as alternate or secondary key. Fine. Achha. Foreign keys are the columns of a table that points to the primary key of another table. Okay, that is actually we have to refer it. Okay, they act as a cross reference between tables. So if the foreign key is has been defined, so there must be two tables. Okay, so one table, okay, will refer the primary key of the other table. So what will happen? So the new things you cannot insert in the second table. Suppose say table A and table B. So, and table A has been the primary key of the table A has been referred to as primary key from the second table. All right. So in that case, what will happen? No insertion will be possible in the second table, and no deletion will be possible from the first table. Okay, that's the one for in case. So moreover, whenever you are doing this practical, you will understand it well. So for the timing, you should know these foreign keys are the columns of a table that points to the primary key of another table. Okay, that's what I have said, the table B and table A. And table B is known as the child table, and table A where the primary key is remaining or staying, that is known as a parent table. So you have to refer or cross-link the primary key, okay, as foreign key from the child table. Okay, so in the child table, then what will happen? New record you cannot insert, and from the parent table, the records that are being referenced into the table B, okay, it cannot be removed. Okay, so that is the thing. So in that case, what will happen? The data integrity will be invalid. Okay, it's not possible. That's why these four keys are actually the maintaining the referential integrity as well as data consistency, that we must say. And these are the primary, these are the keys in DBMS. Okay, wherever you learn, whatever you do the courses and all, BCA, MCA, everywhere, You have to learn all 4 keys. Okay, and you have a clear concept about this keys, then only you will be able to with work with efficiency. Fine. These are the things that you can see very nicely. Okay, out here. So this is the primary key, super key. This unique key is also there. You can unique key is there. Now a difference is there. Primary key and unique key. There is a bit difference. What is the difference? Difference is that the primary key cannot accept the null value. Null means which is nothing, but the unique key can accept the null value. It is possible. Okay. So now there it is saying here the employee ID has been chosen as the primary key. So you know the driving license number, passport number, all are this unique in nature, but these cannot be the primary key. So in that case, they have been termed as alternate key. You can see out here clearly alternate key, and these two are the unique key also. So among these 3 unique keys, only the primary key has been chosen. Only the primary key has been chosen as the sorry, only employee ID has been chosen as the primary key. The license number and passport number, they cannot be the primary key right now. So then what they have become? They have become the secondary key or the alternate key, and both are having the nature of unique key. Okay, so that's why what is happened exactly, you see employee ID, license number, passport number, all these are having the eligibility to be the primary key. Okay, so that's why they are coming under the candidate key. Fine, that's why they are coming under the candidate key. Okay, amongst these 3 candidates key, employee ID has made the primary key. That's why license number and passport number has become the alternate key. Okay, but they are also unique in nature. Okay, so the keys that are unique in nature, okay, are known as also super key. Okay, so employee ID, license number and passport number, these are candidate key along, or they are also termed as super key. Now you see that the composite key or the foreign key, you can see out here this employee ID, which is the foreign key. This is the foreign key. This actually referred to over here. Okay. Now the thing is there, 100, 101, 102, all are being entered over here. Now if you want to insert a new record, say 103 in salary table, it will not be possible, because it will be, it is actually dereferenced in that case. So it will be meaningless if you are entering 103, because the name is not there. What the hell the employee ID and salary would do? Okay, that's why. So what is happening out here? Employee ID, first of all, you have to enter over here, insert the record over here, then it can be referenced over here. Okay. Now another thing is important. So suppose you want to delete the record 100, record 101 from here. So if you are deleting 101 from here, then what will happen? It will become meaningless out here. So the deletion is not possible from the employee table, and the insertion is not possible in the salary table. So in this way, the differential integrity are being checked by using the database concept, or by using the keys. These 4 keys are very, very important. That's why primary key, candidate key, alternate key, and foreign key. All right, that's the thing. Okay, so these are all about the database concepts. Okay, so if you are studying this one, I think this is the part which has been given in the syllabus. So you read it very nicely. Okay, I will also give you the PDF, this particular thing in the PDF form and explanation. You please listen carefully and listen it again and again in order to understand the explanation. Fine. Okay, thank you very much.